Welcome to the Geostrategic Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Deep Dive. Thank you for joining us as we analyze the forces shaping the future of global security. Something just changed in the Indo-Pacific, and most people missed it. China quietly upgraded its most advanced stealth fighters, turning them into flying command centers. At the same time, Indonesia made a calculated move that reshapes how middle powers deter pressure in contested airspace. These are not isolated decisions. Together, they reveal where future air wars will be decided, long before the first missile is fired. Stay with me because by the end of this deep dive, you'll see why air power in Asia is entering a completely new phase. If you value serious defense and geopolitics analysis, like, share, and subscribe. And most importantly, leave a comment. Do these moves stabilize the region or make it more dangerous? I want your honest take. So let's unpack this. We're looking at two, well, they seem like totally separate decisions, right? You've got China pushing the envelope on its 5th-gen fighter, and then you have Indonesia committing to a 4.5-gen program. How on earth do these two things connect?
Well, that's what's so fascinating. They're both reacting to the exact same reality, which is that air combat. It's just not about the platform anymore. It's about information. It's about reach.
Information supremacy.
Precisely. China is going for what you might call architectural dominance. They want to be the central brain of the network. Indonesia, on the other hand, is looking for credible, sustainable air denial. They can't dominate, but they can make it too costly to attack them. We're seeing this complete stratification of the air battle space out there.
That's a great frame for this, dominance versus denial. So let's start with the dominance piece, China. The public confirmation of the J-20A and the J-20S in September 2025. This felt like a big signal, like the program was graduating from an experiment to a mature system. Let's dig into the A variant first. What does that letter actually mean for the jet?
The J-20A is really their new spearhead. And if you look closely, the physical changes tell you everything about their new doctrine. Analysts immediately spotted this kind of raised section where the back of the canopy meets the fuselage.
Okay, so when I see a change near the cockpit, my first thought is pilot visibility. But the sources say the original J-20 was already great in that department. Right. So what are they gaining by changing it?
Yeah, that's the counterintuitive part. It's not about the pilot's eyes at all. It's all about performance, specifically supersonic performance and what they call supercruise.
So sustained high speed without guzzling fuel on afterburners.
Exactly. The new design just integrates the canopy more smoothly. It reduces drag, minimizes airflow separation, all things you need to do to fly very fast for very long over, the huge distances of the Western Pacific.
So the machine's ability to fly fast and far is now officially more important than the pilot's ability to see out the window.
That's the trade-off. But there's another piece. That structural change creates valuable internal volume, and this is key.
So what are they putting in that new space?
More powerful systems, better processors, and very possibly more fuel. Military expert Fu Qianxiao pointed this out. He said the de-emphasis on visual sight confirms a huge shift toward sensor-centric warfare.
Meaning the jet is basically a flying data node.
Exactly. It gets its awareness from networked sensors, not from the pilot's eyeballs. That's the doctrinal shift in a nutshell.
That really brings it home.
Yeah.
And that focus on networking, that leads us right to the J-20S, the 2-seat version. This is a huge deal. China's the first country to actually operate a 2-seat stealth fighter.
And it's not a trainer. It's designed from the ground up for command and control, or C2, and for man-on-man teaming, MUMT.
But why put your command and control in a $100 million stealth fighter? Why does the C2 platform itself need to be invisible?
Because in a modern war, your command nodes are target number one. If you put your battlefield brain in a big, slow, non-stealthy plane...
It's a giant bullseye.
A giant bullseye. The J-20S is designed to coordinate the entire fight from inside the contested zone. CCTV even said it has outstanding tactical command and control capabilities. By putting C2 inside the J-20S, China makes sure the most critical part of its kill chain is also its most survivable.
There was that great analogy from analyst Zhang Zhofeng. He called the J-20S a playmaker in a football team. So the person in the back seat, they're not just a weapons officer. They're running the whole play.
Absolutely. That backseater is managing huge streams of data, running electronic warfare, and this is the critical part, providing much more precise control over those loyal wingman drones. You need a dedicated human brain to really manage a swarm of autonomous assets in a high-threat fight.
Okay, so to sum up the China side, they're building a stealthy central nervous system for their Air Force. It's a comprehensive system-level advantage. So if that's what China's doing, building this incredibly expensive centralized 5th-gen brain, How does a middle power like Indonesia even begin to respond without bankrupting itself?
And that takes us to the KF-21 Block 2. Indonesia's move is, well, it's just a masterful piece of pragmatic policy. They've shifted from an aspirational goal to something that provides credible near-term deterrence.
They're maximizing capability with their hands.
Exactly, where it counts. They're not trying to build a perfect F-35 equivalent. They're minimizing the insane life cycle costs of true fifth-gen stealth, while getting, say, 80% of the capability in the areas that matter most: sensors and weapons.
And the deal itself required some pretty clever financial footwork, right? They had to resolve some issues with South Korea.
They did. Their initial stake was reduced, they cleared up their arrears, and that unlocked new export credit facilities. That's the mechanism that makes this possible. It turns a complex debt situation into a tangible squadron of 16 Block 2 aircraft.
One full squadron, that's a real capability.
It is. And for a country with Indonesia's budget and, its vast security needs, this is cost effectiveness in action. You get supersonic performance, networked sensors, all at a fraction of the cost of an F-35.
And other countries in the region are watching this very closely.
Oh, absolutely. The Philippines, Malaysia, they see this as a potential blueprint. It's a way to balance the pressure, as they say, without taking on the huge financial and political baggage that comes with top-tier American stealth fighters.
Okay, let's talk tech on the block too, because 4.5 Gen can sound a bit like yesterday's news, but this is a very modern platform.
It is. It's a true multi-role fighter, which is critical for an archipelago nation like Indonesia. It's not just an air-to-air fighter.
So what are the key performance specs that make it a credible threat, even to a fifth-gen opponent?
It comes down to range and sensors. You're talking a speed of Mach 1.8 and a combat radius of over 1,000 kilometers. That's real reach. But the secret sauce is the sensor package, an advanced AESA radar and an IRS system.
Okay, stop there. For our listeners, can you just quickly break down AES and ASD in simple terms?
Sure. Think of AESA as the engine of modern air combat. The radar can scan everywhere, track dozens of targets, and even jam the enemy all at the same time because it steers its beams electronically. It's incredibly fast.
And the IRST?
That's basically a powerful, long-range thermal camera. It's passive, meaning it just listens for heat, so it can't be jammed. And it has the potential to detect the heat signature from a stealth fighter, which might force that fighter to turn on its own radar.
Giving away its position.
Exactly. It's a passive counter to stealth. And the KF-21 is designed to fuse the data from both of those sensors together.
And that sensor fusion, plus the new weapons, that's what shifts Indonesia from defense to denial.
Correct. Block 2 adds long-range missiles like the MBDA Meteor and standoff bombs. We're talking beyond visual range, or BVR combat. The fight is decided hundreds of kilometers away. With that capability, Indonesia can deny an adversary access to its critical sea lanes. They don't have to win the dogfight. Which brings us back to the central question, right? What happens when you pit China's centralized, stealthy C2 network against a distributed, cost-effective, but still highly networked deterrent like the KF-21?
It seems like both moves, as different as they are, confirm the same thing. It's an information war now, not a platform war.
That is the absolute consensus from all the source material. Whether it's China redesigning the J-20 for better sensor performance or Indonesia pouring money into ASR's fusion, the winner is decided by detection range, data fusion, and kill chain speed. Who sees, decides, and shoots first.
And the classic dogfight. That's now a system failure, not the main event.
Exactly. It's a contingency. The entire focus is on the network, the data links, and the sheer performance of your BVR missiles. And this is creating that stratified battle space we talked about. China is aiming for total superiority. Regional powers are aiming for credible denial.
Which means older fourth-gen jets without modern radars or networking, they're becoming obsolete faster than ever.
They're flying blind into a data storm. The capability gap is just widening incredibly quickly.
So let's tie this all together.
Yay.
We have China going all in on network stealth and Indonesia finding this very smart, pragmatic 4.5 Gen solution. Two sides of the same strategic coin.
And the strategic bottom line is this. The Indo-Pacific is moving toward a new air power era where escalation will be faster, margins for error smaller, and deterrence increasingly dependent on information superiority rather than sheer numbers. It's about the network your jet plugs into.
Okay, so let's game this out. What should we be looking for between, say, 2026 and 2030? Expectation one has to be the expansion of these manned-unmanned teams. China will get loyal wingman drones working with the J-20S, and that will force everyone else to pursue their own fighter UAV teams just to keep up.
Right. And expectation, too, is a huge demand for long-range BVR weapons. Force planning is going to be all about missile stocks, things like the Meteor, the Chinese PL-15. Missile kinematics, its speed and range will matter far more than how tightly a jet can turn.
And expectation 3. The fight moves to the network itself. We're going to see way more emphasis on electronic warfare, cyber attacks on command nodes, and even operations against satellites. The target isn't just the plane anymore, it's the data link.
And I'll leave you with a final provocative thought. If China is building this centralized, stealthy command structure with the J-20S, and regional powers are relying on distributed, networked platforms like the KF-21, the next war will be decided by whoever can jam, deny, or destroy the information network of the other side first. The real battle will be over before the first missile is even fired.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the shifting air power dynamics of the Indo-Pacific. If you found this analysis insightful, please listen to our other deep dives.
Thanks for tuning in. If you found this discussion valuable, please like, share, and subscribe to the Geostrategic Podcast for more in-depth analysis on topics that shape our world. Stay informed, stay ahead, and stay tuned for the next episode.